Hello, my name is Kimberly Willison and I'm a SPRA fitness instructor. I'll be leading you through a 15-minute energizer that you could do anytime throughout your day. Maybe you need something to get yourself moving in the morning, get the blood flowing. You could do this first thing in the morning. Maybe you are a teacher that has some students that just needs to move between classes. You could do this between classes. Or maybe you are working during the day and you need something just to motivate you to get moving at lunchtime. You can do this anytime throughout your day that you'd like, and I hope this helps motivate you just to move just a little bit. So let's get started. So let's start by marching out in the spot, and we'll just have our arms just by our side. So just before we get started, just a reminder, I'm going to show you some really basic movements, but you are exercising at your own risk. I want to remind you to make sure that your surface is clear of debris. If you are outdoors like I am right now, make sure that you don't have any holes or anything that you're going to trip on and twist your ankle. So just make sure your environment is safe at the same time. Okay, let's start by doing a step touch. So we're going to go step together, step together. Now what feels comfortable is arms and legs moving in the same direction. So let's start by having those arms swinging the same time as our legs. So this is generally a little bit easier on our brain for our arms and legs to go in the same direction. So we'll start a little easy and then we'll gradually add on a little bit more intensity. So if you've got that, this feels like it's easy enough for you and you want a bit of a challenge, let's have our arms go different direction than our legs. Let's have our arms reach and pull instead. So legs are going to the side still, arms are coming forward and back. This will just be a little bit more challenge on our brain to have those arms and legs going in different directions. By all means, feel free to stay with those arms staying in the same direction as your legs. Okay, 4 more. 3 more, 2, and last one, march it out. Let's see a heel dig in front. So heels are going to come in front. Heels in front, toes are lifted. What generally feels comfortable with this one are your arms coming together in front. So as the leg comes forward, the arms come forward at the same time. Feel free to stay with these arms if this is what feels comfortable for you. If you'd like to have a little bit of a challenge, your arms and your legs, again, could go in different directions just to challenge the brain. So in this case, why don't we do an upright row? So as the heels go forward, the arms come up. That's it. Now this one's not so bad, is it? Arms and legs, doing just a little something different each time. Can I challenge you one more time? Let's keep going with the heels, but let's have those arms come out to the side. Remember, at any time, go back to a different arm that you find easier, or challenge the mind and the body by having the arms and legs going in different directions. Last 4, 3, 2, 1, and march it out. Let's touch back this time. So legs are going to touch back as the arms are coming forward. This tends to be what people find most comfortable. So our arms are counterbalancing those legs. Remember, you can go as fast or slow as you'd like. If this pace is too fast for you, slow it down. If you feel like you want to work a little harder, you could speed up the pace. Now once again, I love to change up the arms just to make it a little bit harder on the brain. So while the legs continue to tap back, let's have those arms do diamond in front. Out to the side, up, out to the side, down. Out to the side, up, out to the side, down. Now at any time, feel free to speed that up or stay with that half-time pace. Now we're working the back side of the body, our glutes and our hamstring. Now we're a couple minutes through, about 5 or 6 minutes through. So by now you should start to feel the heart rate start to raise. You might feel like you're starting to breathe a little heavier, and you might find that your body temperature is just starting to rise just a little bit. So we're through our warm-up part, and let's just keep going just a little bit more, keeping that heart rate going, getting the blood flowing. And let's march it out. Great. Let's do a wide and narrow step. So we will go wide, wide, narrow, narrow. Wide, wide, narrow, narrow. Now once again, you could stay at this half-time pace if that's what feels most comfortable for you. Or you can speed it up to any speed that you'd like, as fast or slow as you'd like. That's it. Wide, wide, narrow, narrow. Wide, wide, narrow, narrow. Once again, I'm starting with marching arms here, which is probably the most comfortable and easy for us to do. Feel free to stay with those march arms. If you'd like a little bit of a challenge, then mix it up with different arms. Why don't we try bow and arrow? Oh, this one will be a little bit harder on the brain. So wide, wide, narrow, narrow, while my arms are doing bow and arrow side to side. This is a challenge. I'm having a hard time with this one too. Okay, let's see 2 more. And last one. Good job. Now keep going with those legs. You'll notice that one side of our body is always leading. So we're going to switch our lead leg. So we're going to tap down in 4. Let's slow it down just a bit. 3, 2, last one. Now tap down, tap. Now I'm switching my lead legs. Now my other leg is going to lead the exercise. We want to make sure that we work both sides equally by switching our lead legs halfway. I'm working both my right and my left side equally. Nice. This also gives us another opportunity to change up those arms. So you might want to stay with those marching arms. Again, you always know you have options. Let's try something different. Let's try a punch. So punch out and in, punch out. You might find this one a little easier than that bow and arrow arms, because as those legs are coming out, those hands are punching at the same time as those legs. 4 more, 3 more, 2 more, and last one, march it out. Great job. Okay, let's march it out again. So just for another minute, let's get that heart rate up just a little higher. Let's do a hamstring curl where our heels are gonna kick our bum. So heels are kicking the bum. Knees are staying pointed down towards the ground. So I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see this, and I'm gonna slow it down just a bit. You want those knees pointed down towards the ground. Imagine that your hands are on your thighs, my fingertips are pointing down. You don't have to keep them here all the time, but imagining that they're like that, and you want to keep those knees pointed down. We don't want those hands to come forward. So you could have those hands for a moment, but you don't want those hands to come forward. You don't want the knees to come forward. You want the heels to come back. Good, let's add some arms with that. So heels are gonna continue to come back. Let's wave those arms side to side. Again, those arms and legs can go in opposite directions or same directions. Last 4, 3, 2, last one, let's march it out. Good. Okay, let's start bringing that heart rate back down. So that was about 10 minutes of energizing activity, just getting the blood flowing by movement. Any sort of movement is medicine, and motion is lotion. So just getting the blood flowing will help us to be able to move better, have more range of motion throughout our day, and feel more energized. Let's just spend another moment just getting that heart rate down. So let's just take it to a little bit lower march. Anytime when we bring the heart rate up, we also want to make sure that we bring that heart rate back down before we stop our feet completely. If we don't do that, then the blood can rush to our feet, which is called venous pooling. And what it can cause is it can cause us to go lightheaded or dizzy. So we want to gradually cool down the body here. Are we feeling like we're cooling down a little bit? Let's do a couple nice big shoulder roll up, back, and down, just to reset that posture, because so much of our day, our shoulders are rolled forward, maybe on a device or on a computer. We want to reset that by rolling those shoulders up, back, and down. Let's take a couple deep breaths just to make sure that heart rate is down. Take a nice deep breath in, inhale all the way up, and exhale, hands come down by the side. Again, nice deep breath in all the way up, and exhale. One more time, nice deep breath in. Do we feel like that heart rate has come down a bit? Maybe feeling like our breathing is back to normal. We still might be a little warm, and that's okay. You might be warm for a couple minutes here. Okay, let's go into some basic stretches that we can do. I especially like doing stretches after we've done a little bit of a warm-up. Then our muscles are warmed up and are going to be better able to stretch. So let's start by bringing one foot forward, and we're going to sit the hips back, keeping that chest lifted, getting a nice stretch through the back of the leg. From the side, it looks like this. I want to keep my knee soft. I don't want to ever lock my joints. As much as possible, I want to keep that neutral spine. So maybe tuck that tailbone a bit, bring that belly button to spine, head and neck in line with the spine, looking about 3 feet in front of me. If we want a little bit deeper stretch, I can lift that toe a little higher. I can lift that tailbone just to deepen that stretch slightly. Then we want to hold our stretches for about 20 to 30 seconds to really get those muscles a chance to stretch. So getting a little bit of a stretch through my glutes, my hamstrings, and my gastrocnemius or my calf muscles. Good, let's switch sides, other side. So take the other leg forward, sit the hips back, chest is lifted, chin is tucked, knee is soft. If I want a little bit deeper stretch, I might lift that toe a little higher, lift the tailbone, nice neutral spine, and then looking again about 3 or 4 feet in front of me to keep that head and neck in line with my spine. And then during our stretches, we always want to remember to breathe. So just taking some nice, easy, deep breaths. Okay, let's come up. One of the tightest muscles in our body is our hip flexor and quadricep. So we're going to take one leg back, keep one leg forward. We're going to sink down nice and low, getting a nice stretch right away in that hip flexor and quadricep. Now, if you can't quite feel that, there's a couple things we can do to make that a little bit deeper. We can do a little bit of a pelvic tilt. So tucking the tailbone, bringing the belly button to spine. We can sink down just a little bit lower. That might also deepen that stretch just a little bit. And then the other thing we can do is just lean back slightly. Now, if this is too much for you, you can always sit on a chair. So I would have one bum cheek on the chair and I would have my other leg back. And then my rest of my body can relax rather than holding the rest of it up. Great, let's switch sides. So other leg forward, other leg back. Once again, doing a little bit of a pelvic tilt. Come down, getting a nice stretch through the hip flexor and quad. Couple things, once again, I can bring that belly button to spine, tuck my tailbone under, lift my chest, tuck my chin, and then I could lean back just a little bit if I wanted a little bit deeper stretch. Oh, doesn't that feel good? That is a very tight muscle in our body, especially if we do lots of sitting throughout our day. Our hip flexor and our quadricep gets really tight. Good. Another option, if you're able to do this standing and don't need that chair, you could also just be hanging onto a chair or a wall, and that would also be helpful if you're just feeling a little off balance. Okay, come on up there, give that a little bit of a shake. Let's have one arm across the front here, stretching out through the shoulder. So keeping that chest lifted. Yeah, so this is a nice stretch through the back of the shoulder or your upper back. Let's take that same arm up and back into a tricep stretch. So bringing that arm up, gently pressing on that elbow. We can either do it from below here, or we can lift that arm up and over. And release that. Let's have that other arm come across the front, stretch out through the other shoulder. We want to make sure that that shoulder isn't up towards the chin or the ears, so make sure that shoulder is low as you pull it across the body. And my hand is just above my elbow, but it can be just above my elbow, just below my elbow, whatever feels most comfortable. Let's take that same arm back into a tricep stretch, either giving a gentle press on that upper arm here, or pulling it up and over it and a little pull on that shoulder by having that hand on the elbow and giving that gentle pull. So feeling a nice stretch through your tricep as well as your shoulders. And then if I was really tight for time and I only had time for 2 stretches, it would be that hip flexor quad and it would be this chest stretch. Our chest tends to be very tight because throughout our day we are in a forward flex position a lot of the time. So that chest opener or chest stretch really helps to reset our posture. Let's bring those hands behind our back for one last chest stretch and front of the shoulder. So hands are behind the back, maybe just lifting up ever so slightly. And once again, taking just a couple more deep breaths. Good, let's take 1 or 2 more breaths. Nice deep breath in, inhale all the way up, and exhale. One more time, nice deep breath in, and exhale. Great. Thanks so much for joining me for our 15-minute energizer. I hope you enjoyed that today. And just remember, keep the body moving. Motion is lotion.